What's good, guys? We back at it again with another video. As you can see from the title, today we have a Caleb Holt breakdown. I know for a lot of y'all, this is a name that you probably never heard before, and here's why. This is a 15-year-old who just finished his freshman year in Alabama, but he just won the Alabama 6A state championship as a freshman in high school. In the state championship game, he dropped 32 points and 18 rebounds, and in the game before that, he had 33 points. So this is one of the best freshmen in the country. This is one of the top players in the class of 2026, if not the best player. And the reason why I even know about Caleb and why I'm bringing him to the channel early is because last summer he played for Game Elite, but the catch was at 14 years old, he played up with Game Elite 16U and was making an impact and was dominating. So like I said, this is one of the best players in 2026, and I had to let you guys see him early because I've been looking around and the name Caleb Holt isn't really being mentioned too much in high school basketball. I understand he's a freshman, but what you guys are about to see is going to open your eyes. Let's jump right into it.
Caleb Holt has a proven knack for scoring the ball. He is great touching the paint, which allows him to convert on floaters and finishes. There are times when he can be prone to over-dribbling or forcing into traffic, which can lead to turnovers, but for the most part in the half court, Caleb's a pretty patient player. As you're going to see on this possession, he gets it on the block and looks first, takes his time backing down his defender, and again, great touch. And one. Caleb's touch also extends beyond the paint, though he wouldn't be considered a knockdown shooter at this point. As you can see, he has no lack of confidence in his shot-making ability. If you give him any type of space, he has no problem raising up and knocking it down. On the defensive end, he has good instincts to pair with his size and athleticism, which allows him to create turnovers, and he does a great job converting these turnovers into buckets. Like I said before, no lack of confidence. This is a pretty advanced feel for the game for a player of his age, changing pace here in order to create that open look for his teammate, or even on this next possession, again, staying patient on the block, then throwing an overhead skip pass across the defense for a wide open three. I know I said earlier he might not be considered a knockdown shooter up to this point, but from what he did in this game, that might have to change. Late in the game, watch how his defense turned into offense. Once Caleb gets out in transition, he's an extremely hard player to stop. As I said before, Caleb's a player that's extremely difficult to keep out of the paint, but one thing I forgot to mention is that he's also relentless in his chase after the basketball. He finished this game with 18 rebounds.
Okay, so Caleb, and the first thing I want to say or really remind everyone is the player that you just watched me do a breakdown on, the player that you just watched win a state championship and drop 32 and 18 is a freshman in high school. We're going into his sophomore year now, but he was a freshman in high school and he's 15 years old. Usually I don't even like doing breakdowns on players this young, freshman year, because when you're that young, most of the players at that age, their bodies aren't even developed. Most players aren't even coordinated yet, but then you have players like this, and I've been saying it in some of the recent breakdowns that I've done before on some of these younger guys. So you have Caleb or Koa Pete, Cooper Flagg, Cameron Boozer, the Boozer twins. You got Darren Peterson, Elijah Arenas, Jerry Easter. A lot of these younger players are becoming more and more skilled at younger and younger ages. And I'll be honest with you, I'm expecting pretty soon to turn on some film. Maybe it might even be Peyton Kemp. I don't know how old he is, but there's going to be some 6th, 7th graders that look like pros, or at least move like pros, use pro level moves, because I'm telling you guys, what I'm seeing from these players younger and younger and younger, it's kind of crazy. But let's talk more about Caleb. The first part of his game that I want to talk to you guys about, focus on, is something that we talk about a lot on the channel, and that is energy level, motor, how relentless he was in chasing the basketball, because there were a lot of clips in this game that I didn't include in the breakdown where Caleb dove out of bounds, where Caleb jumped out of bounds trying to save a ball. He finished with 18 rebounds, and he's not a natural big. He's not 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". No, he's 6'4", 6'5". He was one of the biggest players on the floor. But again, his natural position is not a big man. His natural position is not to be down there in the paint boxing out. Yet he still finished with 18 rebounds. You guys saw in that one possession, he got his own rebound twice in a row in traffic. I watched throughout the entire game him get traffic rebounds, him get all the 50-50 balls that might go out of bounds, or okay, maybe the other team might get it. He's coming up with those. And I feel like that's one of the things that separates him. Before we even talk about the scoring and the shot making and the finishing in the paint, the great touch, just the fact that he was going after every loose ball, going after every rebound, it speaks a lot to what type of player he is. And it's why I tell you guys all the time, it's one of the first things that scouts, coaches, everybody notices is, even though I knew that, okay, he's probably the most talented player on the floor, he's also the player that's given the most effort, and it's part of the reason why his team won the game. On the offensive side of things, like I said, of course, we know he can score, but there is one more thing I want to talk about really fast, and that is his ability to pass the basketball, his vision out there on the floor. Now, in a game like this, in a game where he really has to be the one to do everything and take over and take a lot of shots, it might not be something that was featured a lot in this game, but at the same time, if you're really watching, you're seeing that he has the vision and he can pass the ball. You guys saw in transition, which is why I say, even though he's listed as a wing, he does have some guard skills. He understands how to slow down, change his pace, throw the no look to his teammate. Even though he missed, it was a great pass. Or in the half court to get the ball on the block, and we literally just talked about this in our necessary skills to be an elite big video. I didn't learn patience on the block until early on in my college basketball career. So as a freshman wing guard, to understand and to have patience on the block and to, okay, let me slowly back him down, and then I'm gonna throw this overhead skip pass, pinpoint on target to my teammate so we can knock down the open three. Plays like that are big time, again, especially as a freshman in high school, and I'm watching him make one-handed passes off the bounce, right hand, left handed. To a normal viewer, those might be easy passes, but I understand, and I'm telling you guys, that passing ability, the vision that I was seeing him have, put him in a different environment with better players where he doesn't have to do as much in terms of scoring the ball, you'll see a whole different side. Now, in terms of scoring the basketball, as we saw, Caleb has great touch in the paint, converting that floater in the middle of the lane, or even getting it on the block, having great touch, converting that and one with the defender literally knocking out his legs. But the thing I was really impressed with, especially for a player like Caleb, who has positional size, who is bigger, more athletic than a lot of players out there on the court, for a lot of younger players, especially freshmen, what you expect them to do is force, drive into traffic, and just force up shots. And by my count, he might have done that less than 5 times. Throughout this entire game, I watched a freshman be extremely patient, be extremely intentional, pick his spots. I know I said in the breakdown he might not be a knockdown shooter up to this point, but maybe I'm not even in the right position to say that because I haven't seen too much of him. But from what I saw in this game, if you give Caleb Holt space, if you give him any type of room, he has no problem raising up and knocking it down. So from what I saw from him offensively in this game, he was scoring the ball on the block. He got to his pull-up at the top of the key. He was knocking down catch and shoot threes as well as threes off the bounce if they back up a little bit. He got to his floater in the paint. Again, this is a freshman though, so with freshmen, you never want to put too much expectations or pressure or even try to project freshmen because you never know what's going to happen. It's a long 4 years before senior year. You know, players can grow. Players can add different things in their game. That's why even with Caleb, I don't even want to put him in a position. I just want to say at this point in time, this is a really, really good basketball player. Like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember, you want the one-on-one evaluations or the breakdowns to get posted on the channel just like this one. Hit my website, btibasketball.com, in the description. Also, if you have any questions for me or need any advice, hit my link for Noodle in the description. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys next time with the next video.